Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So Alliance Wars have been updated, and as of this week on the 13th, which will be Wednesday when Wars return, we will have a whole new way of Alliance Wars being scored, and I'm going to go through the details of what's changed. We knew this change was needed. Diversity was hated throughout basically every alliance. Didn't feel like they favored them. I know in our own alliance, we won a few wars on diversity. We lost a few on just diversity. So it was frustrating for anyone that, you win some, you felt cheap because everyone was even. It wasn't a real win. And then when you lost, you really felt annoyed because, you shouldn't have lost. So they give a big spiel here as to why they're changing it. And in fairness to Kabam, they are reacting to what people wanted. They've listened to feedback from the players that they speak with, people they have in beta testing and things like that. So here, the summary point here is the core reasons why they're changing and what they're making as the most important parts of a war. So of course, killing the boss and exploring should always be key. And that is true. Highest exploration and the boss kill should mean the most amount of points should go for that. And that is what they're focusing on. It also shouldn't be too easy. In the current format, it's too easy to explore 100% and kill the boss. It was in the old format a lot harder. And hopefully with the nodes they'll bring in, it'll be a little bit harder to get through the war maps again. Meaning that the alliances that are skillful enough to do it deserve to win the wars they're in. Fighting should always be better than not fighting. This is a point, I suppose, where people didn't place defenders, and we'll talk later about a new stat that's coming in where you actually get points just for what's called defenders remaining. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll come back to that. Diversity is there as a tiebreaker now, not basically where a winning amount of points can come from. So having a diverse champion still matters, but it's now the least important thing as opposed to what it was the most important thing. And the last point here, that skill should be a major contributing factor in the outcome of an alliance war. And of course, like I just said, going back to the top point, being able to kill the boss should not be an easy thing for any alliance to do. It should be the best alliances that can get all the way through maps if their opponents have smartly placed defenders in nodes that make them very hard to beat and knock down. And if that is done, if you have a smart defense set up, it should really take a skilled alliance to undo your defense. That is what I guess the whole point of this is. So these will all be going live on December 13th, as you already said. So the first part of this update being attacker kills. They've basically removed points granted for attacker kills because defender points or defender kills were taken away in the previous update. Basically, if your opponent decided he was just going to keep reviving many times as you want, your champ could sit there with 27 kills on a node in one of the mini boss sections, but it means nothing. They've had to sink some points into revives, but once they got through and explored 100%, if they had more diversity to you or a higher defender rating than you, if they were initially a higher ranked alliance than you were, if you got matched against a stronger team, then you were just losing that war and there was nothing you could do about it. So removing attacker kills it stops people from just plowing through and getting the points for basically not you having a good defense that they just overwhelmed eventually. So here we go. Defender's place and defender rating. They're removing all points for defender's place and defender rating from the alliance wars. As I just said a while ago, basically when the alliances get matched, if you were in the higher alliance with better defenders, you automatically had this default head start, which shouldn't have been the case, because if you're in the weaker alliance and you're placing weaker champions, it's more of a challenge for you. You have to be more skilled to get to 100% exploration. Therefore, you deserve more of a bonus points, if anything. So what Kabam are doing is they're making it a level playing field by removing those points. It was like basically an automatic head start that stronger alliances would have against weaker alliances, which just increased the gap between the stronger and weaker alliances in matching. So this is definitely a big positive step. If anything, though, they should be giving a boost, like a challenger rating, I think, and hopefully in the future, where the weaker alliances are given that head start. And it's actually the gap in defense weekly would make you have some points. But I can see that being abused as well by strong alliances placing really weak champs. But it could be on overall base hero rating, not on actually what you put into defense as a way of coming over that. Okay, so we'll skip down through that. So point values have changed. So defender diversity, the max you could get was 7,500 in the previous setup. It's only going to be 4,500 now. And the reason for that is every unique defender has been reduced from 50 to 30 points. It just makes it less important to have diverse champions, but still 4,500 points. If you're up against a skilled alliance that is going to 100% complete and explore and kill the boss, you still want those 4,500 points. It might still be, as they've said earlier, the tiebreaker as to who had the more diverse team. So that may still be happening and people might still find that frustrating, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So exploration points have changed. They've been cut in half from 300 to 150. And this is basically the defenders remaining that's coming down in a while. Defenders remaining is now the biggest thing. It's all about having a smart defense, setting up your champs in a way that they can't be knocked down. And this is why we're going to see that diversity matters less, because people are going to sacrifice those 4,500 diversity points in order to access these defenders remaining points that we'll get to in a while, because exploration is now cut as well. All the points are getting cut in every other place. You can't get attacker kills. You can't get you can't get defender place and defender rating points. You can get only just over half of the diversity points, half of the exploration points. Therefore, where you're going to get your points from if you want to win a war, it's defenders remaining. And that means that you might see 10 Mordos in a war, 10 Nightcrawlers, just to stop people getting through the nodes. Because if those defenders are still remaining at the end of a war, massive points to the defending team. So we'll go down and explain that shortly. So first of all, there's attack bonus. So in order to kind of almost reintroduce defender kills, what they've basically done is they've done this kind of like defender buffer point system. So if you can take down a node without losing any champion, you get 240 points for that. That's basically your attacker kill and defender's kill merged into this new attack bonus score. But if you lose a champion to that, it's now only worth 160 points. Lose 2 more champs, that node is worth 0 points. You still want to go through it for exploration and to complete the map, but you're now earning no extra points for your team. Also in defense, if you don't place a defender on that node, you automatically don't get any points because you can't have any champ remaining on it at the end of the war. So this is getting rid of a lot of problems that were in wars. One, where people weren't placing defenders because they didn't need to. And 2, where just constantly pushing revives and potions in meant that you could just overwhelm and push your way through a war with no sacrifice to defender skills. Now there is a thing where skill comes into it. Being able to clear a path without losing any of your champions means that you are getting 240 points per node you can clear, and any losses that are taken in are going to have a reduction in points. This is going to separate the men from the boys effectively, because going through a map now without using revives and potions, that is what's going to win you a war. It's the skill element. So hopefully we'll see big changes on that. You can see here the third fight and the fourth fight. This goes through what I was just saying. And the next thing is defenders remaining. So basically, every time a defender is not removed from his node that you placed him on, you get 250 bonus points, which means if you place in every BG 50 champions, 150 in total, there are 37,500 points available. That's a huge amount of points. If you can even keep 20 of your champions remaining on the outside paths if teams don't explore there, you're looking at a lot. You're looking at 5,000 points, which again, that's more than diversity now. So you need to factor in how you can best place champions. Things like 10 Nightcrawlers every battle group might be frustrating. I can see MODOK being Alliance bosses or Alliance War bosses very soon as well. Dormammus will come back into Mordos. So the really annoying hard defender champs will start getting placed more commonly now, and people won't worry that they're lacking diversity because they will feel that if they can keep those champions on the nodes, it's worth a lot more to them in points. So yeah, that's basically what defenders remaining is. So it sums up on this table here. It was a lot of information. It is a lot of information to take in. But if you kill the boss, that's still 20,000 points. So if you do that by 3, you're getting 60,000 points flat, which is 32.8% of all the points you can get. It's still the best thing you can do in the game is kill the boss. For exploration now, you can see it's been reduced from 300 to 150. So being able to clear all 3 battle groups 100% gives you 45,000 points. That's almost a quarter of all the points you can get. Defenders remaining now, you can see this is a huge thing. If you could get 250 points per defender, if you come up against an alliance that didn't drop a single defender, that will never happen. You would get 37,500. But again, you will still get a few thousand if people don't explore 100% your path. Now, the top alliances will, but in those middle and tiers, I imagine this will be a huge factor in deciding what wins and losses. The attack bonus, of course, this is what's going to make the difference in the top alliances. Attack bonus, I mean, if you can get through the paths, and your alliance can, without losing a single champion to any of the nodes, you get 240 per node, giving you a possible total of 36,000 points, just under 20% of all the points available. And that really, I think, is going to be hopefully the tiebreaker, unlike defender diversity, which is 4,500, which is a real tiebreaker. So defender diversity should only matter now going forward if you're up against an alliance that's so good as you are that they can kill all 3 bosses, 100% explore all the maps, maybe have no defenders remaining if both teams have explored the maps fully, so that there's no defender remaining points being included. have lost 0 champions in all cases, or have lost the same amount of champions at least at certain nodes. Therefore, they're getting the exact same amount of attack bonuses. Then the only way to separate it at that point is defender diversity. Who brought a more diverse team? And that team will be the winner in that case. I think you still need a tiebreaker, so it's good. But I think the attack bonus, that's really telling you who wins, who cannot lose champions during the war. So wow, yeah, it's this summarizes again the 4 real points here. Skill is now going to be a lot more important in Alliance War, and I can't wait to get going. So I'm actually going to upload the next war that comes out on December 13th. I'll try and record my progress through it. I'll probably put all the progress together and make one video as opposed to doing the 4 or 5 times I log in to do my stages of the war. But yeah, I'll put a video together and get that out hopefully no later than Thursday or so if we get a war going straight away. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed all the information. Post any questions in the comments and I'll be sure to respond. And please like, comment, and subscribe.